Okay, so the number one question I get all the time is after when should I start is how are the benefits calculated? How does Social Security determine how much I'm going to get for the rest of my life? How, in terms of retirement benefits, disability, spouse benefits, surviving spouse benefits, all the rest of it. So let's talk about how your benefits are calculated. So a lot of people misunderstanding there. They think Social Security benefits are calculated based on your last 3 years or last 5 years or last 10 years of earnings or something like that. That is incorrect. Social Security looks at your high 35 years of earnings. So they don't look at the last 35. They look at your entire lifetime and they pick out the high 35 years of earnings and then they index that for a wage index. So a lot of people make the mistake and they say, well, I made, $20,000, $30,000 last year and I made, $10,000 when I was, 18 years old. So obviously, the money I made last year is more. No, the money you made in 18, because it was indexed for inflation, a wage index, that's worth a lot more. So if you made $20,000 when you're 18 years old, that might be equivalent to like about $80,000 to $100,000 today, possibly. So what they do is they take they take that high 35 years and then they divide it to see what your average indexed monthly earnings. So it's called the AIME, averaged indexed monthly earnings. And to get to this webpage, it's retirement, and then you click on the frequently asked questions there, and it gives you how my Social Security benefits are calculated if you're watching this from another source. All right, so they take the average index monthly earnings, and then they multiply it by these bin points, because if you're a higher wage earner throughout your life, you get a lower percentage as a replacement rate for what you paid in. If you're a lower waged earner, you get a higher percent. So a lower waged earner could get 90% replacement rate of what they paid into Social Security, their average index monthly earnings. A high wage earner can get about 35% or so. So 30, 35% or 90%. It really depends on what your average index monthly earnings. And that's one of the things the Social Security Fairness Act, the 3% of the population are getting essentially more because they don't understand that. But anyway, so 2025, the bin points, what they do is they take the first $1,226 of your earning throughout your life and they multiply it by 90%. And then they take the next bin point from 1226 to 7391 and calculate it at 32%. And then anything after 7391, they multiply it by 15%. And these numbers right here, the 90, 32, 15%, pretty much stay the same. The actual bin points, they change every year. And I'm coming up with a calculator now that you can go in there. It's not completely done yet, but hopefully in the future when you're watching this video, it'll be done. So that's how your benefits are calculated. And